It's we could get this thing started right now, because that's a good intro into it. Chris is that dude's on top of it.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't know it was so uppity.
Huh? What was that? Amber.
He's like Martha Stewart today.
He's what?
Like Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart.
Yeah.
In what way?
I didn't realize it was so uppity around here. My bad. With the improper beer glass.
Anybody else want one?
No, thank you.
No, we're good. Thank you though. I will take one, but they're out.
It's a lot of driving indecisions today.
Driving indecisions.
I like Scotch.
You like Scotch? Is that what your thing is now, Doc?
No, not necessarily.
I would say now I act like you're fat. That Doc is very much a fad follower.
He's a trendy guy.
Yeah. You like Scotch? That's your drink of choice?
I do like Scotch.
Yeah.
I'm a beer guy, but I like bourbon too a lot.
Yeah.
I really like bourbon. And recently, Chris turned me on to a tequila I really like for sipping, the Casamigos.
Gosh. I was going to ask if it was a George Clooney one.
I used to really love.
Told you with the trend.
Is that
trendy.
is that his?
It is. My wife. I told my wife at this point, like during the COVID, like she wanted oat milk, like certain type of oat milk, could never find it. I'm like, you need to start buying stock into this. And she was like Casamigos like a year or two ago, whatever, and she was like, this stuff's great. And I'm like, it's just because it's George Clooney,
Right?
And then I taste, I'm like, this shit is good.
It's really good.
It's really good. So you just put it on ice and sip.
Yeah.
Or no ice, just straight up.
Yeah, straight up. I do like a lot of different tequila. I don't like the ones that are basically rum.
Okay.
That are called tequila.
Sure. Yeah.
The ones that are 100% truly agave, not just on the label. But yeah, I really like that one. That's a good. That's a sipper a lot like the bourbons that I like.
Have you had? Do you like mezcal?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you had some of them local, like mezcal Carreño?
I haven't. We've got a bottle of, I think it's called Sacrificio at home.
Okay.
I think it's something like that. But it's
black bottle.
It's clear.
That's what I meant.
But it's
black on the inside.
Yeah, you got to get the mezcal Carreño. That was a game changer when I met those guys.
Yeah.
It's been years and years ago, drinking mezcal in their backyard before they were a business, I'd say. Before they'd brought their first bottles over. Oh, we got the swag.
Beautiful.
Everybody who does a podcast gets a free hat.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Hell yeah. You got large men size hats, Chris? Like bucket head size.
And an extra medium here.
You notice I'm not wearing a Pedal Haus hat because they do not have them for large melons.
Really?
Let's see if we can get you in there, Chris. I'm going to see if we can. Oh, yeah, sorry. Come up this way a little bit. Can you kind of, a little bit of a, there we go. Perfect. All right. Everybody comfortable?
Yep.
It's a hard, that was one thing that I discovered as we were Jeez, dude. You can go for the glass if you want. Cheers.
You should have seen how he started the last podcast.
I hate to see you drink alone.
Thank you, man.
The last podcast started with a spilt beer.
That's right. We had
one for the homies. A lot for the homies.
Yeah. We got a new show. We got to get Doc on. Doc, you're gonna be a guest with your backyard cooking prowess. We have a show called Fat Dudes, Fat Foods, PHAT. Right?
I ended up on it because it's PHAT. Otherwise, I thought from the get-go I was doomed to ever be on that show.
Oh, yeah. Well, Jonathan, my co-host, he's not a big dude either. You know, he's not a FAT dude. But he is PHAT. So we just talk about backyard entertaining. And stuff
I
like
wish
that,
you were videotaping in my backyard when I caught the pizza oven on fire.
Yeah.
When was this?
Out of commission. Yeah, it's been a little over a month.
Okay.
Yeah, I always put the wood in and go to the Dirty Blonde, drink a couple pitchers, come back. It's usually pretty warm, throw some more wood in, and then get the pizzas going. And I got my second pizza in the oven, and I'm looking at the top. It's just stone. You know, Justin built the thing out of cement, and there's smoke coming off the top. What? Is there like a bird poop on it? What's going on? And I realize it's coming from underneath it, and I look underneath, and the whole base of it's on fire. It was his first oven he made. Trying to do it on a budget as an experiment, used 4x4 wood on the base, and it caught on fire, and it's sitting right next to my wood pile.
You've used that for a long time, though, right? Like that's.
I was using it every Sunday.
We did a pop up with it on the riverfront in Scottsdale, so it could have been a fire in a very much more interesting spot.
Area.
Yes. It was a Friday night right on the riverfront, but it cranked out some pizzas that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Well, I doused the bottom with water while I was putting more wood inside because I still had 2 more doughs I wanted to cook. So I just kept going, but I had the bottom soaking it. Made a different kind of smoke around the neighborhood, though.
It's a good thing you were home when it caught on fire, not at the Dirty Blonde watching fire trucks go by.
Right.
Never again.
Some idiot. Right?
Oh, wow.
I will never do that again.
Fire.
I know Justin says wood fired, not wood inspired, because I'm like, I kind of want to put a plumbing in there and go gas so I can just preheat it with gas and leave it alone.
Yeah.
But I think that's a safe way to go if I'm not going to be around.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Or maybe I don't go to the Dirty Blonde and drink a couple pitchers of beer while I have a wood-burning thing in my backyard in the middle of the dry desert.
Way around it.
I was going to say, operator error or manufacturer defect?
Yeah, that's very, very true. Well, Doc just hit us with the first, his first sneak peek into Fat Dudes, Fat Foods episode with him is at-home safety, right?
Yes.
Like staying safe at home when you're doing what you do. Well, we're here at Pedal Haus. This is the downtown one. We just did an episode, man, that was like 2 months ago, I think, with you and Julian. And now we're back because I'm pretty excited to say this because of that episode, right? We talked about, I'm always telling everybody, like if I'm sitting like at the bus station, I'm like, hey, you ever heard of Brett Vibber?
That's probably where you're most apt to find the people that have heard of me. Yeah, I think I hung out with that guy in an alley one time.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. But no, you know.
Back before the dispensaries were legal.
That's right. So we think I need to create a page just on Tap That AZ of all the Brett Vibber episodes because they're some of the funnest. But yeah, so we were talking about it, and you happen to, that story that you just told is perfect segue because his partner, buddy, chef, like how Justin.
Justin's just part of the Wild Crew.
Wild
it's
Crew.
a different kind of group that we've got. They've got to be able to do, from a 20-course plated dinner for 15 people one night in Paradise Valley to out on the front lines of the forest fires to, Afghan refugee camps to someone's wedding out in the White Mountains. It's just it's a different kind of, business that we've...
Yeah, there you go.
different kind of business that we attract our employees with. I mean, Justin could be running gas lines all morning, welding something in the afternoon, sauteing a piece of fish, putting it on the plate.
Yeah.
Jaren's the same way as, we might start off, as everyone is getting well aware of, we might start off the mornings, picking mushrooms and up on the rim or picking spruce tips up on the rim in order to get back to, Cottonwood or Camp Verde or Sedona or Phoenix or wherever it may be for the next application. So just highly adaptable kind of guys. We still call ourselves chefs.
Yeah.
You
can't. Well, like you.
I was thinking of putting just Renaissance Man after the one episode. You dubbed me that a while back. So I thought maybe that would just be my title.
I did dub you Renaissance Man. God dang right. We need to get you in like the high like puffy pants and stuff.
Yep.
And the fake wig.
Yep, one of those William Shakespeare collars.
So I was sitting with Justin having a beer here last week, and he said something that was really cool. He said chefs have to be athletes and artists, and I think you guys are taking it to a new level because you definitely have to be athletes to be out there foraging in the wild.
Right.
That was
right.
really cool.
Our guys. I often, especially for the year that we were up at Mortimer, nonstop, I would ask. People would reach out and say, "Yeah, are you looking for more employees? Are you looking for more staff?" And like, you know how to drive a tractor? No, I'm a chef, or I've been a sous chef here in California. This, that, the other thing. People that we cross paths with, and like, no, that's great. Cooking has to do, with 12 to 13 to 15 hours of our day, but at the farm, we were setting kitchens up and setting dinners up all over the place, whatever part of the farm looked the best. And so it meant, forklifts, tractors, backhoes, just you got to set it up first.
Work.
Right, but it's fun. I mean, who doesn't want to drive a tractor? You're a little kid driving the fake tractors around in the sand. Now I'm a big kid driving the real ones.
Yeah.
And it's all in the name of cooking.
That was his entryway into operating heavy machinery.
Right.
It was like, if I can cook a steak, I can operate that forklift anytime I want to.
Yeah, it's easy.
Actually, forklift would be tough on a farm, right? Little tires and stuff like that.
Yeah, believe it or not, it's sometimes tougher than it looks, depending on what you're lifting too.
I worked at a shipping dock for 5 years in Ohio. R&L. You see them all around here. We were known for shipping whatever. Like if you're some shady place in the back alleys of Youngstown, Ohio, and you need like a crate ship, no questions. How much is away?
Right.
Cool. like we'd poke shit, like, you know, we'd poke into barrels of stuff that was labeled as whatever, and it's like starts to eat away at the floor.
Yeah,
like spray it out.
So the shady people in that back alley know you.
They do. I got a lot of connections.
Right.
So yeah, that's the next event I'm going to pitch you, the tractor trailer dinner inside.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Nah, that's not a good idea.
Hey, we are actively looking for a refrigerated big truck for deliveries.
Really?
We should put on a beer dinner in there in the middle of the summer.
That's actually
Inside
really
the truck.
And drive it around.
Dude,
We could sell sweatshirts. Don't tell everyone it's going to be really cold. And just, hey, we have sweatshirts for sale.
What are these
What if
sweatshirts?
Dude, what if you put windows on, right? What if you could install windows into something like that? Drive that thing in the middle of the desert, like the Walter White dinner, right? Dinner, right? You go out there, it's cool inside, but you can see, like, oh, this is beautiful, right? If you want to step outside. I don't know, man.
Yeah, they got the party limos and whatnot.
I've
You
had
just
weirder
turn one in.
ideas take off.
Right.
You know, I convinced my wife to let me do this for a living, so.
Here we are.
There might
Anyways.
be a deer hanging in there if it's hunting season.
Yeah, that's part of the
Even
experience,
better,
Doc.
right?
Yeah.
Or we go hunting for the deer.
He's
Butcher
starting to
right
get
in
it.
front
He's
of
starting
him.
to get
Yeah.
it, yeah. I think he's fueled some of my ideas.
Highly adaptable.
But that's the connection that you had is Justin,
Yep.
one of the Wild crew, actually built your oven, pizza oven.
So yeah, he and Josh Ivey, kind of my mentors in pizza, got me really into making pizza, and they kind of helped me do it long before he gave me the oven. And he kept telling me to go to your dinners, and he kept telling me about them. They sounded fascinating, and I always hear about them after they happen. And then
would have been so cool, Doc, if you would have.
he started texting me. He's like, "We got one coming up at the Crepe Bar pretty soon." So I texted Julian. He's like, "Heck yeah, let's go." So we went and finally got to experience one of these awesome dinners. It was amazing.
Yeah. What was your thoughts, like, you know, like with, because I know you have both you guys, right? With your guys' experience in food and beverage, when you have his food, what do you think about it?
I think
Be
it's
honest, like he can take it. You know?
yeah, no,
Been
I
taking
think
it for 26 years in this business.
I think it's an experience that everybody don't worry about the cost. Money comes and goes.
Sure.
Everybody needs to experience something like that. That
Yeah.
is not only for kind of your soul, because this is all stuff that was harvested. You know, not for a profit through a big corporation like Walmart. This is local stuff, and his partner that
Jaron.
is Native American, and brings what he has to the table. That it was amazing, and just the flavor aspect as well is. I mean, it goes without saying, but cleanse your soul and give you something interesting on your palate, and then there's usually a liquor or a wine or something that's paired with it, and you get to hear their story of why it pairs together, and it was great.
Yeah. I haven't had the opportunity to experience it yet. I think
It's
I was.
coming, it's
Yeah,
coming.
I can't wait. But yeah, it's also that emotional. It's a social emotional experience, and the story of where you found those ingredients, and I think that's something that's dearly missing in a lot of restaurants and a lot of bars and culinary concepts, and so the more we can move in that direction as an industry, I think it's just look what happened with supply chain over the last 18 months.
Sure. Yeah.
That should push us more in that direction of thinking about where we're sourcing and just continuing to bring it closer and closer to home.
Yeah.
So
for sure. Yeah. Well, so and you've been in the industry for a long time as well, right? Like, so you've kind of seen trends. You've seen how many years in Arizona specifically?
I've been out here for 30 years now,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I keep this pretty secret, I guess, until today. But I have a culinary background.
Okay.
I grew up. My first job was in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, working at a seafood restaurant.
Nice.
And I wasn't a big fan of the idea of going to college. And my dad said, "You should go in the military," and I said, "No." and I was
College sounds great.
I was working one night with the chef at the seafood restaurant, and he said, "You're pretty good at this. You should go to culinary school." And I said, "Yeah, where should I go?" And he said, "Oh, there's a school in New York called the Culinary Institute of America. You should apply." And so I applied. And at the time, I was right on the cusp of it. You needed to get a kind of a referral to get in, and they were transitioning to we're going to accept everybody in and wash as many people out. It started to become a business more than, elite school.
Yeah.
So I went to the Culinary Institute of America when I was 18.
CIA, right?
CIA.
So
I was in the CIA.
CIA.
This is the real CIA.
Yeah. Well, I've listened to like audiobooks and they start talking about the CIA, and some of them don't even like do the preface of, well, CIA is this, and they start, in my years of the CIA, I'm like, wait, what? Like, what? This took a turn. Like, I thought this was about a chef, and then I'm like, oh, okay, Culinary Institute of America.
And I got a quick story I got to tell you guys. So, I was way out over my skis at 18. I think the average guy had 5 or 6 years experience, and Anthony Bourdain talks about in Kitchen Confidential. He talks about Chef Bagna, this little Italian scary dude that's about 5'2". And he teaches your first practical class is just learning how to make soups and stocks. And 10 years later, so Bourdain goes through 10 years before me, but Chef Bagna is still there. And I drew the lucky card of being in Chef Bagna's soup and stock class. He was the scariest 5'2" Italian chef I'd ever met in my life. And we'd work in groups of like five or six, and we made our mirepoix, and we're making stock in these big industrial kettles, and we're pouring the stock over. There's 5 of us in our group, and one of the guys kicks the bucket of this boiling stock, and the bucket hits my leg, pours down my leather shoe, and I did everything in my power to try and finish that class with boiling stock, because I did not want Chef Bagna to know I was in pain. I was going to get flushed out. And I figured once I survived that, I could survive anything. And that really carried me through getting, a young kid getting through there. I graduated by the time I was 20. And by the time I graduated, I knew I loved the industry, and I understood the science more than the art. Okay. So I stayed cooking for a couple years, but I saw all my buddies making really good money and getting phone numbers from girls at the bar every night. Heck with this, I'm jumping to the other side. So I know enough to be dangerous back there, but not enough to be a guy like Brett or some of the amazing chefs that are out there in the world.
I stayed in the alley.
He stayed in the dark alley.
Nah.
That's a beer name too, right there. I stayed in the alley. Right?
So bad.
I tell people, that get a lot of chefs got out of the restaurant business. So I guess I sort of did right before the pandemic, and out of brick and mortars and whatnot. And some have gone back and some haven't, and people will say, like, "What do you plan on, a brick and mortar?" And like, well, yeah, I'm sick in my fucking head. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong. I long for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for us, it's just been biding time. And since we are able and capable, I had tons of friends during the pandemic that were like, "This is all I know how to do." I'm like, "No, dude, you start doing to go. Like, you come with us. We're taking a trailer up to the rest stop and selling tenderloins to people. It's going to be good. It's going to be the best food these people have ever had."
Yeah.
But I saw a lot of people that were frozen that way. And Jared and I just said, like, well, just let ourselves be for a little while. Yeah. You can always open a restaurant.
Sure.
And it gave us the ability to, do a bunch of cool things with, guys like this. And the stuff that we used to do at the restaurant, we've been able to do outside of the restaurant everywhere without, the restaurant over our head, so that we're able to kind of go and come as we please. And
which
people say, are you in Phoenix? Yeah, sometimes. Are you in Cottonwood? Sometimes. Are you in Flagstaff? Sometimes.
Yes. Sounds amazing.
Yeah. and sometimes it is. And I was just telling someone the other day, someone's it said, like, well, I saw your Instagram profile and like looks awesome. I said, well, I don't put any of the bad stuff on Instagram. I probably should, a day of tears or something, or like all my plants got eaten that time and I was crying. I should have done an ugly cry face on Instagram, so it's not all sunshine and puppies all the time. But
that's right.
But it's been fun. I mean, this is our first dinner. In late 2019, I started Wild. This is our first dinner in downtown Phoenix.
Nice, nice, man.
And it seems fitting. We're talking about the food that comes from here, and you go to a lot of breweries, and you don't see the brewer, you don't see owners, you don't see operators. You would never know. But I come down here and I see all these guys all the time. They're here.
Yeah.
They're operating their business. Those are the kinds of people that we often will. Someone will ask from. Don't name names, but someone will ask from a vineyard.
I was like, who's he gonna say?
Right. I've done it before. Someone will ask from said vineyard or said brewery, and like, do you guys want to do a dinner? I'm like, and then in the most polite way that you can lie to them, no, because you don't have the connection. That we don't feel like we have that like-minded connection, that passion driven. When I have one of this guy's beers, he's telling me all about it and whatnot, and that's what I want to do with my food. I want to tell a story. It's not great. It tastes good. Awesome. But, how come it tastes so good?
Yeah,
and he knows
for sure.
And that's the difference of going somewhere that. Oh, it was Four Peaks. I talked about Four Peaks before because
I always slipped into that.
They're sellouts. I was thinking of a vineyard in mind, but it was Four Peaks. You used to. I remember when it started. I remember being college age-ish, or at least.
I've heard stories.
At least getting in there.
You told me stories of Brett Vibber at ASU. Tempe area, college.
Well, I lived for a summer right on Orange, which is one street south of the original Four Peaks. So
that sounds dangerous.
Needless to say, not much got done that summer.
I guarantee he knew a way to sneak under the back fence and after hours.
The fence was little guy height to get over. We just
hop on over.
Yeah.
Brett's out there frying up burgers
back
and
when
shit.
It was right
after hours.
Surprising, but it. When things go that way, and there's restaurants that are that way as well, that were locally owned, were started that way, and you don't fault anyone for their business decisions or anything like that, but to line up your businesses to do something with like-minded, passions,
absolutely,
passions and in view. I'm super excited to come down here.
Yeah. Well, and when you think of the beer side of it as well, I think of Pedal Haus when I think of kind of that same approach in the sense of how much control over the beer Doc has, right? Like as far as because I want to see Doc's cans. I want to go into Circle K and get some Pedal Haus beer. But
I thought you were talking about these cans.
He was looking at me real kind of like,
I could feel it. I wasn't even looking in that
I was
direction.
going to flash them right now. Been working out.
But it's great because I've talked to him several times about like that quality control and that every sip of beer of Pedal Haus that people have, there's a lot of things that go on between you guys put it in a package and that getting into the glass at somebody's house possibly a year and a half after it was canned because it's been in the fridge, which I guess you can't avoid that. But he's got to have a system. You have a system for like, is it like Santa Claus and the elves? If there's an expired can, people go through the
that
chimney.
It keeps me up at night, like worried about people because we do fill cans with a hand seamer here, and we want them to be fresh as they can get. We hope that our bartenders are purging them with CO2, but it changes over. You drink it that same day, it's a different beer than if you drink it day two.
For sure.
And you can get those inline can seamers that are relatively inexpensive that a lot of people have and do a pretty good job, but they're not perfect. You lose a lot of control over what happens. And honestly, you make more money selling it by the pint than you do by the can or the keg to someone else. So we try and put it this way, it's kind of like cream in the crop. If there's something wrong with it, we know it right away and we can stop serving that batch. So there's a real easy control there. People think it's super magic that we avoid quality issues, but in the event that we find ourselves in a case where maybe the next batch is better, just let the current batch go. Yeah, it's cheaper to dump beer than it is to sell it if it's not your best beer.
I dig it.
Doc's an amazing gatekeeper for us, and as Brett and Doc know, running one of these businesses, there's so many moving parts, and the one thing that is always wildly consistent and reliable is our beer.
Well, we'll see about that.
All that guy.
Well, I was going to say there was talk
yeah.
about like a cooler semi truck, right? So he's stepping up the game. So you're about to,
deer hunting cooler semi truck.
Jason he's tasked. He's our sales guy, and he's tasked with finding this truck. And he literally was driving out to Mesa today to get inside one and turn on the reefer unit. And I know he's motivated by. He's a hunter. Yeah. I know he's motivated by. Hey, can I borrow this truck this weekend? Because it's real easy to keep the deer cold when you just.
Things to put in here.
Another beer name, reefer unit. So all right, I'm just. I have somebody that listens to the show that. Exactly. Yeah, I got a whole cannabis infused line that I got.
Here, I'll give you guys a name that I probably won't brew this because I don't like Brettanomyces, but I think you should do Bus Stop Brett.
Bus Stop. I don't know exactly what it is, but I like the flow.
There's
going
to be a smorgasbord.
But all this. There we go. There we go.
And then you can do a beer dinner with it with said brewery.
You don't like Brett? You don't like Brett?
Brettanomyces gives me a bad headache. I like Brett. I just don't like the diastaticus gene that makes brute IPAs brute and dries things out. They create a like when you pull the saddle off of a horse, that smell underneath it. Yeah, that's desired. And if I'm judging beer and that's the category we're judging, I look for that and I appreciate it, but I'm not going to drink a whole pint of it.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's rough for me, and some people love it. I struggle with ropey notes. I do like sour. I like bacteria soured, but not soured through wild yeast. I like.
Interesting. Okay, so like a Jester King or spontaneous fermentation, not really your personal taste.
If it's got that horsey.
Horse blanket they call it, right?
Horse blanket or goat nuts.
Goat.
If it
that's even better.
Smells like goat scrotum, then I just don't.
You got it.
But I do like everything that makes cheese and yogurt good. I like that in beer. That makes the clean pH drops and the funk that you can get from that. I love it. I love bacteria. In fact, our new brewery, we're putting a barrel room in where we're going to put fooders, and it's going to be temperature controlled and. We got to get the brewery open before we spend money on fun stuff like that. But we do have a great crew that's working with us, and one of the guys, that's his thing. He likes Brett, and he likes mixed fermentations, and we're like, perfect, we're building you a room.
Yeah, go in there.
Isolation. You got an office.
That's awesome.
How come the lock's on the outside?
Yeah. All right, so we got this dinner coming up, right? I say we, like I just, I'm talking about it. I hope I get to eat it and drink it, but what's going on? Like, what did you? Because we talked about it, right? And then somehow I think you texted everybody, Doc, was like, hey, somebody texted somebody, got this thing rolling, and before I knew it, this shit's going on. So
it's planned, and half the seats are sold.
I think you started it. You started the text thread, and then we all drove.
The great facilitator.
We drove Julian nuts with all these texts going back and forth.
Does he hate group texts?
Well, just when we just kept all going. I think at one point Julian says, "I'm just going to text Brett on the side," and he responded with, "I got you."
Yeah. That's right. That's great, though. That's Luke, too. Luke's like, dude, I don't need to be involved in all this, because we're like, hey, cool. And then I send, like, a funny emoji. Next thing you know, there's, like, Chuck Norris things going on.
Yeah. So, it started that way. I mean, it's always, again, it's that community coming together, all the like minds, mutual friends, different things. For me, it's exciting. Jared and I were trying to remember. I don't think we've done a beer dinner either under Wild.
No shit.
I don't think so.
Nice.
Because we're always with wine, just as luck has it. We're always, with Pillsbury or Brucey or Mogollon or, celebrating Arizona wine that typically probably pairs with our, 6, 8, 9 courses and something like that. But again, knowing Doc, knowing, what kind of beers they have, knowing that they're diverse, it becomes easy to, make a menu and say, this is a menu that I think would fit. If the way I'm always doing them in a pop-up form is what would I do if I was the chef there? What would I do if Pedal Haus was mine and I was working with Doc all the time?
And you're looking at his beer menu, and
right, of course, and you have to come and try them. Fucking
proper glassware.
No, it was coming from a guy that gave me a Corona when I came over to his house. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, I did Corona.
Yeah, after schlepping 2 tons of dirt into your backyard.
Oh, you're talking about? Oh, yeah. It was a bad Corona too. It was stale.
It was good.
It was. I mean, it was old.
Ice
it was
cold.
in that bottom left drawer. Anybody knows, like, hey, anything under there is
it was
probably
like,
going to be used for.
It was
cooking.
like June in the beginning of the pandemic. This guy was going to become a farmer and a forager and raise all his own animals. And
I had like a I don't know how big is that? Like as big as that table.
Yeah, it's like
he dumps the dirt in. It's like the best dirt ever. I've been feeding it a lot of fruits and vegetables.
I have 137 tomato plants going right now.
Dang. Wow.
Amongst the other things, but for some reason, tomatoes, which are like the hardest thing to grow, are doing just great. I mean, typically, they say cannabis and tomatoes are similar and quite difficult to grow. I mean, they're volatile. You miss something with water or pH imbalances and one thing or another. But like, I'll grow other stuff, and it just I don't. I go with what I get every year. And so I always used to laugh when people are like, how did you just become a soybean farmer? Or just a one thing. Like I plant 1 million seeds, and whatever happens. And that there's the confessions of an amateur farmer. My other farmer friends would be like, "What the hell is he talking about?" I'm like,
luckily,
whatever sticks takes. Man.
Luckily, half of these tickets are sold because that was not a good selling point.
Whatever. we're selling chef stuff.
No, dude.
I'm not selling farm consultations.
Well, so. At the brewer's table, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's something downtown Pedal House that is this is something, I mean, that's Doc, right?
I was going to say, there's a picture of Doc painted on the wall. It's a picture of Doc
on the wall, brewer's table. There's how many seats there?
22.
22 seats. Was made to, because I've done a couple of the beer dinners that you've done, like when you guys released the vegan and gluten-free menu, which was incredible, and then have them paired with all of your beers. So just knowing Doc, like his appreciation for food and Pedal House, like it all made sense, right? So that's what I like about Brett too, is Brett's diversity, right? I've gone to very high-end like dish, like fine dining, and I'll be honest with you, Brett,
right,
like it's lost on me. Like I grew up in rural, like redneck Appalachia, Ohio, right? So for me, like I want to see a big dish of like chili cheese fries,
right?
Yeah,
and gravy on everything.
He knows that because in between courses, he's feeding me all kinds of other shit.
Yeah, here's some nacho cheese. We got you a shot of nacho cheese to hold you over.
He sees me walking down by the creek with a beer and a camera. He's like, I'm gonna keep an eye on him because.
We did keep an eye on you that day.
I could have fell in, yeah. Anyways, your diversity, right? Your ability to kind of, that full spectrum. And you're saying, right, now you've got this, you and Jaron have this platform of beer to work with, right? Doc's beer, right? Like some of the best, if not the best.
If you know Jaron is currently digging up as many spruce tips as he can because we're off to the Woodlands Wine Week on Thursday morning. Hence his absentee today, but we got an early morning text that said, I can keep going on this, or I can hightail it down to Phoenix. I said I'd keep going on it.
It's ripe season.
But I mean, you'll see it. Jaron always has been, maybe where back in our formal trainings or when we were young and very impressionable and at our foundations of the whole thing, Jaron's always been a craft beer guy. I think he was sort of that. Our age difference is not that much, but craft beer came after the wine fad came through America 15, 18 years ago, something like that, where, the first high-end restaurants I worked at in America were tapas, was when, share plates were starting to happen, small plates, large plates, whatever it may be, and wine just seemed like that was what was going on. Everyone was getting their fucking Somm and this and that. And then craft beer came right behind it, and I was already in the midst of the next part of my career where I had a big wine base and my
you probably put
training.
A lot of time and like a lot of resources and all that into it.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm as a drinker, I'm always been a beer drinker. So I get around but Jaron is like a craft beer aficionado. Where we like when we come home from anywhere, it's always like a bag full of different craft beers.
I didn't know that about Jaron. I've talked to him about so many other things. Jaron's such a good dude and just such a cool guy. But I did not know he was that much into craft beer.
Yeah, and all the time where he came home from the refugee camps with beer from Wisconsin, because he knows like I'm probably not going to be at La Crosse Brewing anytime soon. Hopefully, hopefully. Otherwise we're back. But and he's always that way where even if we're traveling, I'm camping or whatever. Yeah, I'm the kind of guy that I'm going to grab beers like my uncles. We're going to the lake, like we're getting a 30-pack of something, or we're getting an 18-pack of something. And Jaron was like, I got some sours, I got a triple IPA, I stopped in Flagstaff at 2 different breweries. I'm like, this is why it's an 8-hour drive from New Mexico for you, and it's a 5.5-hour drive for me. But you always have some, I've tried more beers because of Jaron than I ever would have.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. Yeah. So when this opportunity came up, or the situation came up, he was like, hell yeah.
Stoked, yeah. I mean, and same thing is, this is, no matter where, kind of wild takes us from, sometimes longer jobs and sometimes, quick travel jobs, and we're back in a few days, but this is always going to feel like home for us. This is where I'm from. This is where I was born and raised. This is where Jaron cut his teeth in restaurants. This is, where a large portion of his family is located. And to see, 30 years later what downtown Phoenix has become. Yeah. Well, that's the same reason I left in the first place. Yeah. I didn't feel like, if downtown Phoenix looked like this when I was growing up, there would have been chefs to find in Arizona to work for. Sure. The chefs that I knew when I was young were Mark Tarbell and Christopher Gross. That was it.
Yeah.
And that's not, and obviously social media has changed things as well, where we know people differently than we used to. Yeah. But I felt like I needed to get out and experience different cultures, whether it was inside of the United States or outside of the United States. I just wanted to experience different people's kinds of cultures, different people's stories, different farms, different foragers, different wines, different beers, all of that, with the idea of always coming back. And I've been back 8 years, I think now, but to see what, there was 30,000 people that lived in Gilbert when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And there's like 500,000 or something. Like there was 300. There was 300,000 10 years later when I graduated high school.
Yeah.
So to see, a lot of people are averted, and I hear about all of that, in different groups of people of like how fast Arizona's growing and everyone's coming to Arizona. Well, guess what? Everyone came to Arizona.
Yeah.
So just because you got here 20 years before doesn't make you any fucking better. Right. So, and guess what? Everyone moving here is the ability that we all have to buy nice houses and build nice restaurants and run successful businesses. So, I think it's super cool for Jaron and I in general. We always talk about like completing circles for ourselves, and this is kind of another one for us. Coming to downtown Phoenix, getting on with a beer dinner, getting on with guys that care about their craft just like we care about ours.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And there's only 20. Well, I think there's 9 or 10 seats left.
Nice. So this is intimate.
So get on it.
Get on, right. So what's going to happen? Like, what do you guys? What's the pairings and what's on the menu?
I think we're going to come out holding hands.
Mm-hmm. In kilts.
Will you guys
turn around every now and then?
I knew you were going to ask me for the menu.
I always have. You guys ever tried to use? You know what Shazam is?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever tried to sing something like after a few drinks and like see if Shazam picks it up? Haven't hit it yet, but I've
Wasn't
tried
that a Shaquille O'Neal movie?
It wasn't. It was Shaq.
That's what I know is Shazam. What are we talking about?
Trying that.
Here you go.
That's a challenge right there. If you can nail it. Here we are. Beautiful.
There you go. You got a welcome beer, right? Day Drinker
Which is the
Light
Day
Lager.
Drinker Light Lager. What is that? Is that a new one?
That's our light lager.
I'm just kidding.
Come on, man.
The legendary. My mom came into. So my mom's in Ohio, right? She's retired now, so she wants to come out more often. She comes out in the summer, watch the kids while we have to work. And day one, she wore her Day Drinker Light Lager jersey that you guys did a few. I don't know if you still do them.
Oh, we still have the shirts. For sure.
Those are great. Yeah, she loves it. She's like, I love it. She loves it.
It's a good foraging beer because it says right in the title that you're allowed to drink it during the day. So it's always sort of been a thing.
Foraging.
It is my favorite beer. I have it tapped in my backyard.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love drinking beer with Doc. A couple years ago, we went up to Seattle, Jillian, Doc, and I. And we really tried to get Doc into day drinking. It's kind of ironic. You can't get this guy to drink a beer much before 4 o'clock, but one of his masterpieces is called Day Drinker.
Yeah.
He's more of a night drinker, but it is.
I make up for it. I still support the industry.
That is true.
It's like the race, and all of a sudden, like Doc's right there with it.
Between 4 and 9, he definitely catches up.
All right, so you start off with the Day Drinker, light lager, award-winning light lager.
Yeah, no adjunct. We make that with 100% American-grown Pilsner malt, grown in Colorado, and try and just keep it simple. It's beer-flavored beer. No reason to cut it. It gets mixed reviews in competitions if we enter it as an American light lager because it has to be really dry using the adjunct, and we just use Pilsner malt, which gives it kind of a sweetness, but we keep the alcohol down, and we don't hop it like a Pilsner, so it's just our own unique thing.
It's a beautiful, beautiful beer. So much that they made up Jersey for it, Brett. So what do we got next?
Course one, we're going to do a Nelson's Catch of the Day Crudo, some chili tapine salsa. We grow a ton of chili tapines on my property, and there's those summer tomatoes. I've been growing them just for something special, right?
Nice.
But that's a nice thing about controlling what we're growing. It doesn't matter what we're getting a lot of. I can see a month, 6-8 weeks out of, I'm going to have a ton of carrots. Let's do beer braised carrots.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I think we'll simmer these. I'm going to make sure we get every beer into the dish when we get down here to prep and get everything.
So somehow each of these beers is going to be.
I think the tomatoes will get concassate in the Pilsner.
Okay. I don't know what concassate means, but it sounds badass.
Yeah, right. It's fucking cool. Yeah, it's cool, right? Yeah, you got to say it like this.
Concassate.
Yeah, right. Course two. Put Doc's Mexican Amber Lager with these wild mushroom pot stickers, fermented spruce tip emulsion, which Jaron is on site getting
now.
right now. Yeah.
Wow. Now, hey, back up real quick.
Okay.
Nelson's Catch of the Day. Nelson's.
Nelson's.
Dude, I got to get them on. We got to get them on the Taste of AZ. Like,
yeah.
They do some badass stuff.
Amazing.
Local fishery, not a fishery. What would you call it? Fish market.
Fish market. Yeah, but I mean, just if I can't catch it myself, which I typically try to as much as possible.
Bare hands.
But bare hands. Yeah. Spears. Then I'm usually going off to Chris to see if I can what's he got coming in. It's fresh stuff all the time.
Yeah.
He's closed a couple days a week for a specific reason to reload and get everything cleared out and get everything fresh in every week. I mean, hands down the best spot to get seafood in Phoenix. Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, we leave it that way on menus all the time because I don't know what he's going to get.
Okay,
I don't want to speculate, and I don't want to commit to something and then have to go get a subpar product just because I wrote Hiramasa down on a menu.
Well, and people that are doing something like this, they're open to that, right? They're
right.
Hey,
no, I think people that have...
Yeah.
There should just be a big general disclaimer on Wild that says we're going to change the menu whenever we damn well please because we're not quite sure what the hell we're going to find today.
Dude, it's in the name, Wild Arizona Cuisine.
We do some Sonoran wheat gnocchi, get some sausage from the meat market. I think we were talking about the meat market a little while ago. Pickled wild onions. Onions are coming up on the rim. Sweet corn cream. Corn's a big part of our stuff. That'll go with the Belgian wheat.
The beer blanche.
Yes.
Beer blanche. Is that why you said you couldn't pronounce it?
Yeah, dude.
Dude, that beer is fantastic.
Fancy glasses, fancy words.
I love that beer. Another award winner.
Then we'll do some Arizona Wagyu brisket, native grain stews. We get the grains usually from Ramona Farms. Cactus seed brunch sauce. That's kind of throwback for Jaron and I. We made that sauce about 9,000 gallons of it probably in the time we were at Roca Corso.
Beer name number 12.
What? Cactus seed brunch beef sauce. And then see, this is how again the fanciness keeps coming because then we're gonna have a palate cleanser. Ooh. It's gonna be an adult soda pop seltzer. How cool is that?
You made that, Doc?
I made a seltzer reluctantly, but it's
and came up with the palate cleanser.
Wow, that is beautiful. Yeah. Let me see that again. Okay. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
You should ask Doc a little bit more about how much he enjoys brewing the seltzer.
Doc.
Well,
did we talk about it a little bit on the taste of it? I think we touched on it a little bit, but I could sense his anger. No, I'm just kidding.
I think we did talk about it.
I
think I might have spilled the guts on one of your podcasts, which has come back to haunt me, that I've said that anytime you catch a man drinking a hard seltzer, you're legally allowed to finger him.
This is why I've never had a seltzer.
I cut that one out. I thought that's what
Never, not once. And then last thing you gotta mention Jaren's. He makes a goat milk bread pudding with mesquite caramel and juniper duck egg custard.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a night. I mean, it's rich.
Interesting.
It's creamy custard on the bottom. Duck eggs. We got a couple of different cool people we get them from. So it's just it's a perfect dinner. Perfect to have someone confident, intelligent enough, and passionate enough about their own beer to say, like, this is the beer I'd put with that food.
So did you come up with the menu ideas and like, hey, here's kind of what we're thinking? And
Yeah,
then Doc was like, here's what I would match with it.
That's exactly how it happened. It was another night like last night where I just couldn't sleep. My mind was racing, and I opened up the emails, and I'm like, ooh, let's pair that with this because of this. Let's do it. And I'm like, I hope that the food tastes like I think it's reading.
Yeah.
But he's got the ability to adjust it.
Like this guy.
I gave a group of people. We were doing a dinner at Community Roots last weekend.
Oh, nice.
Just a private dinner for their guests. But we were making the spruce tip emulsion. I said, try this. It's a bright green. God knows what. That's what I think of when I see that color green, and I see it on a spoon. If Jaren was handing it to me, that's what I would think of. Who knows? These people probably thought it was sour apple jelly or something. I don't know. I said, try this, and I love watching people's eyes just go, because their brains never had it before.
Yeah.
So you're watching their face try and figure out this flavor, and of course you have to make sure it tastes good.
For sure. Yeah.
But for something to be so unique as to say 9 out of 10 people probably haven't had spruce tips. But it's a huge staple for us throughout the year, but especially right now we're in the peak of that season.
Yeah.
And so just to be able to do that for someone, hopefully light a little light bulb. I think a lot of people, and I still talk to people over the years that have come to a dinner or another dinner and like, we can't wait for mushroom season again. We got really into it after one of your dinners. We joined the mushroom forum, and they're more involved in something than I am at this point. But I think that's the most rewarding part of it, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. To bring something unique to someone is to give them that everlasting memory of it. You can't really replace that. Certainly not with money. Not for me.
Well, and going back to the fact that it's the people that are going to this thing, they want that, right? They're like, oh, like what? We're gonna eat spruce tips, like how? So they're open to, they're not. I want olives. That doesn't taste like olives, right? Like,
right? Or can you serve me mashed potatoes instead of the mushroom pot stickers, but with the sauce that you're going to put on your beef? And, it's just no. We've crawled into a space where it seems like people want to come to experience what we've put together. For sure. And it's trust in the brand too, right?
Yeah. If you were some Brett from the alley rolling out of the alley.
Right. 20 years ago, Brett.
With Doc, you guys come and holding hands as you guys want to enter into, which is how the dinner's going to start.
Right.
No, but you guys have you have the experience to be able to execute, so that people, they know when they buy those tickets, they're like, hell yeah.
Right.
It's one of those business concepts of you could probably charge more, right? We can always kind of charge more than what we.
Yeah. What I like, what I like about it is, especially somewhere like here, I mean, we're probably typically between 40 and 60 people for a dinner or a whole night of service somewhere, like in a closed restaurant, like at Crate Bar. I think we did a whole night dinner service, and I mean, this is 22 seats. 10 of them are already gone.
Yeah,
10 of them are already gone with a couple, 2-3 social media stories posted here and there. So I mean, this one, I think the exclusivity is really built into it here, where there's 22 seats, 10 of them are already gone. So let's just say there's 12 seats left. You got 12 seats left out of 4 million people. So like I said, hurry the fuck.
We're doing this live, right?
Yeah. Hopefully.
Oh yeah, for sure. Actually,
I only do live.
Yeah.
Eric, you need another beer.
I do, yeah. Light lager, please. Light lager. Yeah. Well, you know what? We're going to wrap this up. I think we've got everything, but I would like a refill when we're wrapped up. But
post-show.
What's a little quick Pedal Haus? What's Pedal Haus up to, right? Minute elevator speech. We're starting to go up. What's going on?
Well, we're working to get Doc's Brewery built so he can keep brewing amazing beer for more people.
Packing up those soon to be purchased cooler truck.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we started the hard shopping yesterday for the cooler truck.
Heck yeah.
So we're going into the airport, Sky Harbor, Terminal 4 at the end of the year.
Nice.
We have a spot in Mesa that we're working on, and tap room at Doc's new brew house here, probably January, February. So
hell yeah.
So we only fly in and out of Terminal 4 now.
It's business. It's business.
My son's a pilot on his way to becoming a commercial pilot, and I will boycott whatever he does if it doesn't go through Southwest.
Absolutely.
Terminal 4,
no,
so I
we
can
only
have a beer on the way in. And
only
the way
we're
out.
flying out Southwest on Thursday. Told you.
Chris is going to be on the news sometime soon. And you know what? If you need anybody to back you up, Brett Vibber will back you up on something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's been on that runway several times.
Right, I'll sway the public's mind. I have a way with people.
You do.
Yeah.
They could catch you on the runway, and then somehow they would escort you off with some sort of metal or
foraging.
ribbon.
I saw something out here. I thought I saw it. That gate was unlocked.
Dude.
Well, here's the other thing. I hope this is the start of more beer dinners. We've aspired to do some elevated beer dinners. We started talking about it. We talked about a lot of stuff during COVID while we were shut down and trying to drink a tank dry, and this was high on the list. So glad it came together. And
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're excited.
Also, all the Jameson bottles.
Yeah,
we drank all those dry too.
I think we emptied the Jameson bottles, the Montenegro bottles, and I don't know how many tanks we made an attempt to drink through, but thankfully I live close enough that I ride a bike back and forth to Tempe. I don't know.
Luckily for me, I was the only one on the road. I was during lockdown. I think I was playing pinball, bouncing off the curbs.
It was hard enough to get a beach cruiser home a couple of those days.
Oh, shit.
After I committed to driving, I realized I should not be driving.
I did that at when we did the dinner, the cannabis on the
this guy
creek.
disappeared for about 30 minutes after we were done with Cannabis on the Creek, and just the staff was there.
Very responsible with my drinks throughout the day.
Bunch of friends came out from the Food Network and did the event, and thought, like, all right, there he goes. He's gone. He must be fine. Grown ass man. I'm not here. I'm not your pappy. About 30, 45 minutes later, he comes walking. back.
Was it that one?
Yeah, it was.
I must have taken it out.
Comes walking back into the party, right?
Hey,
I'm staying all night. I'm like, we told you. Here's your beer. We left it right here.
I woke up the next day in my car in the reclined position with my contacts in shot glasses, individual shot glasses with water, and just covered in dust. I'm like,
That's why I don't wear contacts.
You don't wear glasses.
Show off.
He does. Oh yeah, I choose to see.
Could you imagine what my eyes would look like with contacts? I was sleeping face down in the back of my truck that morning.
It was
a good party. Good event.
That was a good event. That was a good event. Shout out to Community Roots up in Cornville.
Yep.
Awesome people, awesome place.
We'll have to get these guys up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
For a day in the pines on the creek.
Yep, got lots of ideas. So, all right, guys. What's the date of the event?
June 30th.
June 30th. Get tickets online.
Yeah, you can find ticket links for sure on my social media, on Wild Arizona Cuisine social media. I think Pedal Haus has it up and going now. But like I said, you probably sleep on it much more than a couple days from now, and we do what we do best and sell out.
Sell out. I'm just gonna
anywhere,
take that clip.
anytime.
Sell out. Do what we do best. Sell out, right?
Yep.
Sell out session. All right, I'm shutting down after that.
Cheers.
All right, guys. No, thanks for having me on once again.
Thanks.
And always great hanging out with you guys. So thank you.
Cheers.